Present.
Councilmember Evans,
Present.
Councilmember Silva,
Present.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Present.
Councilmember Johnson.
20 online meeting. Roll call.
There we go. All right.
Councilmember Lamega.
Present.
I only have one meeting going, but we have a
Present.
feedback loop. I'm
Councilmember
gonna
Silva,
go ahead and mute everybody.
Present.
Councilmember Nguyen,
Present.
Councilmember
20.
Does everyone else hear this loop? Is it
There
just-
we go.
Okay.
All right.
Councilmember Lamega.
Present.
I only have one meeting going, but we have a
Present.
feedback loop.
I'm
Councilmember
gonna-
Silva,
Go ahead and mute everybody.
Present.
Councilmember
Are we okay?
I have everyone muted. I don't understand this.
Go ahead and mute.
Oh, okay. Hopefully that's over.
Are we okay?
For the record, we have a quorum. Please keep your microphones on mute if you're not talking.
I have everyone muted.
Okay, did we get the roll call done? It broke up really bad on my, okay, so we're good with roll call. Okay, review of agenda items. Has anything arose since the deadline that we need to? No? Okay. Public comment, has anybody emailed in, Leslie, for public comment? Okay, we will go to adoption of the resolution of the 2004 Seaside General Plan to incorporate the midterm review of the fifth cycle 2015-2023 housing. Did you get that?
Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
And so we have our consultant, Veronica Tam. She's gonna lead the presentation.
Great. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm just gonna do a very quick PowerPoint review of what we're doing and where we're at. The seaside housing element, next slide. Yeah, next. Yeah. The seaside housing element, we're currently at the fifth cycle. The housing element covers 2015 to 2023. The housing element was originally required to be adopted back in December 15, 2015. But because the city of Seaside was in the process of updating the general plan, go back, previous slide, please. But because the city was working on the general plan, its update of the housing element was delayed, and we did not actually get to adopt the housing element until December 19, 2019. And that housing element happened a few months ago. If you recall, we had to adopt the housing element ahead of the overall general plan because the state really wants the city to comply with state law and finish the housing element so that the city would be eligible for state funds. But because we were late, there is the penalty that we had to update the housing element midterm to review your progress in implementing the housing element. So we adopted the housing element back in December 19, and now we're at a point where we're doing a midterm review, like a 4-year review into the 8-year planning period. HCD really worked very hard with us because they really wanted the city to be eligible for the SB2 grant. And so we were able to put together this 4-year midterm review very quickly, and they expedited the review for us. Instead of the normal 60-day review, they actually looked at the housing element in 5 days for us. So we revised the housing element, we structured it, looked at the city's progress, reported it back to HCD, and we are now at the point where HCD has officially given us a letter saying that the midterm review complies with state law. The city continues to comply with state law with this midterm review. And so we are moving forward with adoption right now. Next slide. Next. Next slide, please. So for the midterm review, because there hasn't been a lot of time that lapsed between December 19th and currently end of March. And so the thing that we had to work on with the housing element is really just we report to HCD what the progress is, and also update the housing element with some newer housing and demographic data, adding the new requirements under state law to look at fair housing conditions in the city. We updated the status of the Ascent project and also Campus Town. We continue to affirm the city's ability to meet the regional housing needs allocation under the existing general plan, the 2004 general plan. And we also looked at the city's progress in implementing some of the housing programs we outlined in the housing element. And with all these progress report, we adjusted the timeline and actions for the next 4 years between now and 2013. So all those adjustments were really minor and technical in nature. HCD took 5 days to look at it, and they gave us a letter that specifically say the city, if adopt this housing element as the way we revised it in the midterm review, the city will comply with state law and will be eligible for SB2 grants. The first application the city is asking for is $162,000. So once we adopt the housing element, they will move on to reviewing the application and process the application for the city. So next slide. Next. So tonight is the Planning Commission adoption, and we're moving to City Council hearing tomorrow. Definitely an expedited process. Again, HCD is very committed to helping the city. They want the city to get the money. And so instead of the normal 90-day review, they are again committed to reviewing the city's adopted housing element in 5 days. So we would be able to get the SB2 grants. With that, I conclude my presentation. If there are any specific questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Are there any questions from commissioners for Mrs. Tam?
I have one. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering,
Keith, you muted again.
I didn't even touch it. I don't know how that happened. I'm just wondering, the current coronavirus situation, is that may affect timeframes. Did they expect us to address that at all, or is that just something that?
No, it would not affect the current housing element. It potentially affect the next housing element update for cities in the San Diego region, but overall it would not affect any of your housing programs or your funding. In fact, I think the more reason for them to expedite everything to make sure you get your money as soon as possible.
Good. Okay.
I have a question, if I may.
Sure.
So this is just a midterm housing element, and so we'll
Right.
still be providing a new one for 2023, and that one will line up with the new general plan update?
That's the goal. Yes, you will need to do the 2023 housing element. If you do that one on time, you may be able to get back to an 8-year cycle. The law is pretty convoluted, that you have to do 2 4 years on time before you can get back to an 8-year. But how exactly they're going to implement that, I'm not entirely sure. But definitely you will be required to do another one, and hope, we would imagine by then the general plan situation would be resolved by that time.
Anything else, commissioners?
I have a question. Why 162? Why can't we round up to 200,000? Is there a reason for that?
It's a statute. It's based on state law. That's
Okay.
the amount that they come up with. Yeah.
Anything
In fact,
else?
the city requested the absolute highest amount that you could.
Anything else, commissioners, for Ms. Tam? Okay, very good. We'll bring it back to or open it up to public comment, but I think we have to do that through email. Is that correct, Leslie? Has anything come through?
Double check 1 second. As of 2 minutes ago, it hadn't. 1 second, please. No, we've received no public comments. None.
Okay.
Leslie, would you mind speaking up a little bit?
We've received no public comments via email so far.
Okay, we will close public comment then and bring it back to commissioners. Commissioners, anything on the housing element?
I would just
None?
add that there's urgency to this. Should we take a motion?
Yes.
Are you asking for one? Sorry.
Well, I wanted to get any opinions, if any of the commissioners had something to say on the item first, and then we would make a motion, but it doesn't look like anybody was stepping in to talk, but we can try it one more time. Commissioners, if you could just put your thumb up if you don't want to say anything.
I'm good.
So it looks like everybody's good then. So yes, William, we will definitely need a motion then.
I'd be happy to move that we adopt the resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Seaside recommending that the City Council adopt the midterm review of the 5th cycle 2015 to 2023 housing element to the general plan.
A second.
Who's it? Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, passed on to the City Council then. Leslie, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, there you are. Do we need to state the, to be able to turn it over in 7 days? I can't remember the card.
No. I think we're okay on the appeal on this one because you didn't deny it. So
Okay, very good. Let me look at I have to use my mini now because I'm on my computer, so I can't see what our next item is here. So we've got that. Reports from commissioners. Anything from commissioners?
None.
Seeing nothing? Okay, reports from staff.
This is Gloria. I would just like to remind everybody that today is Census Day. So if you go to my2020census.gov and fill out your census form, I actually did that today. It only takes a few minutes. And for those of you who are commissioners, I hope that you take the time to do that because it's really important to our city that we all be counted. And to anybody who is watching this on YouTube, please go to my2020census.gov. It only takes a few minutes. It's really super easy, and it will help your city tremendously, especially when we need resources. Thank you.
Also, on top of that, it is the law to send that in. Okay, our Are we still hooked up here? Everybody nods, but I hear nothing. Okay, so
We're here.
we've had reports from commissioners, reports from staff. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
A motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'm sorry, was this the only item tonight?
This was the only item.
Got it.
So do I have a second for adjournment?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 No, seeing no. Good job, guys, for our first try here. We'll get better at it as we go.
I appreciate your patience.
Hey, no worries. Is that it, Leslie?
Thank you, Leslie.
That's it. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good
Okay,
day.
I think we'll do better
Thank
each
you.
time. All right.
Sure.
Bye,
Have
guys.
a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
All right. Thank you, Sharon, for being here. Thank you, Gloria. Good job, guys.